meteorologist Mark Molnar with a special tropical weather bulletin concerning Erika here. Erika could potentially become a dangerous storm across the Atlantic here. Particularly, take a look at first the satellite picture. This is a very large storm, so this is not a single point to behold here. This system will really play a role in the east coast of the United States weather, especially for the new week coming up from this weekend on through the following weekend. So you're going to want to really stay tuned, because take a look at this projected track I'm showing here of what could be Hurricane Erika here. This system moving through moving through the Lesser Antilles, so to speak, and south of Puerto Rico here will provide, as I said, it is not a single point. This system is producing quite a bit in the way of rainfall and wind. The rain and wind field is very, very, very expansive with this system, and it will continue to chug towards the west-northwest and eventually the more towards the northwest as it gets towards the Bahamas here. And now once it gets towards the Bahamas, you'll be riding around this periphery of the subtropical high. That system will eventually approach the East Florida coastline, and it will slow down to an agonizing crawl. Now, exactly which cities will be affected at this time, it is too far out to tell, especially how close the storm could fall, whether it would make landfall in South, Central, or North Florida, or maybe even further north in the Carolinas or Georgia for that matter. But it looks like it will follow the contour of the coastline as it continues to parallel the coast once it gets to the Bahamas. So this is the big question mark. Once it were to get to the Bahamas here, where would it go from there? How it interacts with that high pressure system. And as I said, once it moves further north, whether it will move just off the coast, up the east coast, the steering currents become extremely weak. So that, so to speak, will speak volumes into what is exactly going to happen with this system. As I said, the wind field with Erika is very, very expansive. Tropical storm force winds extending out hundreds and hundreds of miles from the center of circulation. So this is a very large system. It has a tremendous amount of outflow. If you were to take the center of circulation out of the satellite photo, you would almost think that it were a hurricane already, a major hurricane. So because it's got very good outflow and very good ventilation. So there is what we have going on for Erika. Erika is going to be a big player in the weather, so I'm going to pretty much give that priority over the next several days as forecasts continue to update for Erika. Now, other than that, not much else happening in the tropics here. Take a look at rainfall totals across the country. We're getting beneficial rains right around the edges, Washington and northwest Oregon. Here around the southeast coastline here, that is where we will see Florida up through Georgia and South Carolina, upwards of 4 to 6, maybe on the eastern coast of Florida, upwards of 6 to 10 inches of rain with that approaching potential hurricane here, Hurricane Erika. Let's take a look at that pattern. This pattern's really going to play into Hurricane Erika. The trough that was in effect across much of the northeastern lakes here in the east coast over this past week will lift out. A ridge of high pressure will build in. Subtropical high off the southeast coast will help to steer Erika in. Now, if you take a look, there's no major fronts coming down. There's no trough to steer the system and eject it at a very fast rate. This system, once it gets to near Florida, it will start to meander ever so slightly. It will drift to the north-northwest. And that is where forecast models diverge greatly. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this, because this could be a developing situation. Erika, as I might add, is exhibiting characteristics of that of also a more synoptic type system with the models towards the end of the forecast period, towards days 4 and 5, which means this system could eventually, along the East Coast, really begin to explode into a hurricane type system that exhibits some characteristics of synoptic scale, because it will be such a large expansive system. So we're going to want to really stay tuned to this because this could be something to really keep an eye on here across the southeast coast and eventually up the east coast for that matter. So all interest from Florida all the way to Maine next week should really be keeping an eye on this system as well. So that being said, let's quickly scroll through the forecast maps. Not much to speak of through the weekend here. If we take a look at Friday through Monday here, look at Friday. Not too bad. High pressure dominating, temperatures 70s and even some low 80s, Susquehanna River Valley on southward. Look at Saturday here, looking beautiful across the Northeast. Very nice and mild. Look at these temperatures warming into the 80s across much of the Northeast. And look at this, Sunday, more sunny skies. There might be a chance of a late day thunderstorm approaching southern Ontario, Ohio, but nevertheless, sunshine should really provide a very beautiful Northeast across this weekend. And into Monday, then we have the weaker system here to the north that could spell a few showers and thunderstorms, but as I said, this is a very weak system, and none of these systems will be strong enough to even pick Erika up later next week. So that being said, here along the East Coast Monday, you're all going to want to be watching what's going on to your south, because later in the week, that could potentially play into what is going to happen into the Northeast. So don't forget to like me on Facebook at MeteoMark, subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark, comments, Twitter at WX Northeastern, Google Plus at MeteoMark. I'm going to have a 5-day forecast here for my hometown viewers from Binghamton to Scranton's Upper Susquehanna region of upstate New York and Northeast Pennsylvania. Take a look at these temperatures starting off in the 70s and warming towards 90. Look at this, 70s to 90. Look at these beautiful sunny skies all the way from Friday to Tuesday. Chance of maybe late day shower or thunderstorm come later Monday or Tuesday. But temperatures will be heading up towards 90. And come next week, even here in upstate New York, we'll be watching what happens with Erika. I advise you to stay tuned in the special weather situation. That's going to do it for Weather Northeastern.